Hello, Nicole.
Hello, Dor.
We're having an interview about the upcoming space holder training, which I'm very excited about. And I'm here in Vietnam, close to Hanoi. You want to say where you are?
Yes, I am in Switzerland in a place called 𝕨𝕭𝕟𝕟𝕜. It's a community in eco-village near the Lake of Constance.
Which is actually where we met the first time.
Yes.
Cool. So we decided to do this space holder training, which is crazy. What made us do it? When I'm actually asking you, what made you join, like, decided you hold space for space holder training?
Mm, I'm not sure what it was in the past as we connected at first about that. But from now, it is for me that I noticed that everybody of us are holding space during daily life for many different things. And mostly we are doing that unconscious. So we are splitting our attentions, we are being with things, we are making time, or we're making things happen. And I want to create more consciousness about that. I want to offer a space where we can train or practice that all that abilities we already have, that we can use them consciously instead of unconscious. Because when we use it consciously, we are more aware about the purpose, and then we can really reach that results we want to have instead of creating a mess or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want to invite people to become more aware of what they are doing.
Yeah, so from what you're saying, for example, when I'm talking to my friends, like, there's people around me here that's sitting together with their friends, they're holding space, but they either do it consciously or unconsciously. You have a conversation with your parents, I don't know, with your clients, if you already have clients in whatever field, you are holding space. The question is if you're doing it consciously and if you're using tools to do that.
Yeah, can you say more about that? Which tools can you use to become more conscious?
So in the context of the training that we're doing, we're actually training people to be a space holder professionally, like to create later workshops for themselves, for holding spaces for a retreat or a training of some sort, or maybe you're a yoga teacher and you want to bring conscious space holder into your clients, or an ecstatic dance instructor, or whatever, teacher, guide. But the tools that you get, and you can use them also in your daily life, like what you talked about, is like using your four feelings. For example, like, how do I share what I feel in a space when I'm surrounded by people? How do I do it?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because you're saying four feelings. I assume there are much more feelings than four.
Yeah, you're correct. There's there's more than four feelings, then there is four primary feelings that, like the primary color RGB, red, green, and blue. There's four feelings that the mixture of them, or certain composers of them, create all the other emotions that we know. And we're going to talk about it more in the training, but we work with this uh, certain perspective of using four feelings. And for example, I'm angry. So how do I share with a group of people around me that I feel angry about something, and what it's going to do in the space? And let's say it has a certain result. Let's say I'm angry. I said I'm angry about something, and like people got scared. How do I navigate this space from there to include other people to have feelings. Feelings are okay in the space. It's okay to have fear. It's okay to have joy. So how do I navigate that? How do I speak that into a space? Like I know a lot of people, they already learned about the four feelings, but it, they don't know how to speak them, like how to use them in the daily language into the space they hold. And that's just one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm stucking in that wording of space. We're offering a space holding, and we're talking about that we are holding space in our daily lives and for our professions and so on. And you are talking about navigating space. And I'm wondering, what does it mean? What kind of space do you mean? Because when I'm looking around, I'm sitting in a space right now. I'm in my room. That is a space, a physical space. And yeah, I don't need to navigate through that room as with my four feelings or something like that. I assume there's something different. What you mean?
Yeah, thank you for this question. It's a profound question. So there's physical space, and then there is even intellectual space and emotional space, and then there's the energetic space. And I think when we're talking about holding space, we're talking about holding space for all these different bodies, and especially the energetic space, because the energetic space can include our group. Let's say we're sitting around a dinner table, 5 people, and we're all surrounded by this energetic space. Like if someone is going to leave the room, I'm going to feel that because he's in my energetic space. So when I'm talking about navigating space, I'm talking about navigating space in the four, or actually in the 5 bodies, even the archetypal space. Like what is the space about that is beyond just our intellectual perception or physical perception? So it's really, when we're talking about navigating spaces, is and actually holding space is being responsible for what is happening in that space. You choose to be responsible for that. And the action of taking responsibility is holding space.
So in a way, like a caretaker of the space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's coming up for me is that I recently noticed that I have this ability to scan those spaces. That I trained myself as a child and my whole life. When I am entering a space, doesn't matter which kind of space, but immediately when I enter a space, a room or a conversation, I start scanning what is going on there. And I'm scanning that until now mostly with the purpose of how do I need to behave? How do I have to do in that space? How do I have to act so that I can fit in the space, for example? And with that space holder training, I noticed I shift from that purpose to another purpose of scanning the spaces. Like you said, then I'm scanning not about making the space safe for myself. Then I'm scanning what are the necessities in the space and how can I support it. How can I, yeah, you used that word many times. How can I navigate there with all the people? And it's not anymore about adapting myself. It's about taking care of myself and yeah, navigating, going through that space with support and with the purpose of creating new possibilities and to evolve the space.
Mm.
So that's, yeah, there's also this part of scanning the
Yeah,
space.
I'm happy that you said that, because what I sense that is happening in the space holder training, a lot of times the people that join as participants, they kind of scan. I noticed that it's happening. They kind of scan in the space of our group of the training, and then they kind of see what's the necessities of the other participant, and they choose what to do with this. It's like this teamwork game where you can, like you're saying, you're constantly scanning the space and see what people need, what I can do about it.
Yeah. And I'm each time I'm coming back to this part from shifting from doing it unconsciously to shifting to do it consciously, and really notice about what is my purpose of doing that.
Yeah,
So, and this is a big benefit for me of offering the space holder training, to really create a space where the participants can shift from being unconscious space holders to being conscious space holders.
Yeah, this is huge, because I think a lot of people that hold spaces, let's say they're doing like man women circles, or they're doing sharing circles and stuff like that. A lot of the time the purpose is not so clear to them. Like, it's not like crystal clear. It's not like written down even to that level that I can wake them in the middle of the night and they know what's their purpose of doing that thing. And I think that's one of the things that I learned in as being a space holder in the last few years, is how much this purpose is going to guide the space to where it's going to get. Like, maybe it's somewhere that I wanted to get, like a certain direction, but maybe it can get far beyond that. Like, I can totally see how a yoga class can end beyond just everyone packing their mattresses and going home. Like a group of friends traveling together, it can end up like in a crazy adventure if there is one person that is conscious of the purpose of the space and is holding space for that purpose. And there's training to do about that. Like, I needed to learn a lot about like my archetypal body, and about my anger, about how anger is connected to purpose. How do I get clarity about my purpose, and what is context? How do I set context?
Yeah, and I assume there's also a thing to explore about the shadows in your own. And when you're saying to become aware about the purpose, so there's maybe also some parts in us, I call it right now shadow parts. So some behaviors or patterns that we don't like, that we have it, or that we want to hide, that nobody does see, or something like that. So, and yeah, in that way, this space holder training will be also about that you become aware of those parts. And yeah, so you need to be a bit brave to tap into that territory, to face things that you don't want to face, maybe until now, or maybe also facing things that you don't know about them.
Oh yeah, it's a scary journey. And also about your clients. Like, you learn about your shadow world, but you learn about the shadow world of your client. For example, the whole thing about the last man standing. Like, in every space, there's going to be this someone that takes this role of the last man standing, which is going to resist the most to the space. It's going to try maybe to attack the space holder, or create like a rebellion in the space. And in every training, there's always someone like that in every space. Like, so there's something to do about it. Like, you can learn, what do you do when that's happened? Like, what do you do? How do you scan to see the shadow world of your participant?
Yeah, I imagine that this is really challenging to have those people in the space. They are the rebels, or yeah, want to do something different than the space holder want to create. So it's also about how can I, yeah, maybe not about how can I deal with that, how can I handle those things, and to to become aware in which way does that trigger myself, or why does it trigger myself? What is going on in me when those things happen in the space? So it's also about, again, about myself. When I become more aware about myself and my shadows, then I can also can create empathy. What is going on in the other person, and why is she acting in that way? And yeah, I can become, in a way, unhookable. It doesn't matter to me any longer. I can I don't need to make that to my problem as a space holder.
Yeah. Yeah, so you brought unhookable, and it reminds me that there is a few different modules to this training. So we're talking about 1 year long training. And in this training, there's 4 modules that are the core modules and 2 extra modules, 2 bonus modules. And we already have the dates for the whole year, so you can really join the whole year. And the second module, for example, is the unhookable part, which is what you're talking about. And the first module is more about how to use feelings to navigate this space, learn about your center, and like about how do you scan participants using the 4 feelings, about emotional healing processes. And yeah, you want to mention more things that are happening in the first module?
Yeah, what I get from what you are sharing is that the first model is really about the basic skills.
Mm-hmm.
So we are creating a basic from where we can start and doing the next step, and from where we can dive deeper into some different territories, like in the second model of, how can I become unhookable from what is happening in the space, what participants are doing or trying to create, even when I don't want to create something else. Or how we call, just to get a taste of one bonus model, when we did this unhookable thing. After that, if you want to join, you can dive even one more layer deeper into that and look, how can I become a conscious asshole, and stepping out of this being a good girl or being a good boy, being nice, looking good, and all that. So yeah, so there's
Gosh, I know that I tried for many years, and I have also this good boy thing, also the bad boy strategy. But as a space holder, for example, trying that everyone gonna like me, or trying to look good, or trying to make the space look good. Like put this beautiful how does it call, in the middle. They put in
then it's even like creating a show, or it's so you're creating a show for the participant, that you are professional, that you are serious. And then maybe it creates also a kind of hierarchy when you do it in that way. And I think what we want to create is something different, without hierarchy. And it's not about this being better than you.
It's like, it's not good or bad to have those part of us, but we want to look at them as space holders, because it's really beneficial to bring that also to the space. Like if I learn about like how to get outside my strategy of a good boy or a good girl, then I can also bring it to my participant and help them go beyond what they thought they were possible. Like I was doing self-development coaching for many years, and it's really about intellectualized theories, like here's a plan, here's a module, but it doesn't really touching those things, and it's because if you touching those things, you need to be vulnerable. You need to be able to work in a team and be like, hey, that's my survival strategy, that's my fear, that's my shadow world. And I think
So
yeah,
it
I'll
sounds
just finish.
like
I think the
Yes.
stakeholder training is a lot about that, like a lot about working in a team and creating a space, like you said, with no hierarchy, when really being in a team is possible.
Yeah, and I have a sense that when you're saying being a team, there's also something different, like what I know from my corporate job, what it means to be in a team. So then being in a team means everybody does the stuff by its own.
Yeah,
So
everyone knows.
so there's a difference. Maybe you can say more about what it means to be in a team from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I was a lone wolf for most of my life. I try to do everything alone. Even when someone joined my team, in a certain way, I was not really radically relying on them. Like it was still like, trying to do it by myself. And there's still layers of that. Like I'm still healing more layers that I'm discovering about being a lone wolf. And for me, it's just like being in a team, really like I'm writing a book. And it's called The Power of Sensitivity, the superpower of sensitivity. And I asked in our group, we have a Telegram group with a lot of people. I asked like, who will be in my team for editing in this book, helping me with this book? And and actually three women, but we had a meeting with two of them join the team, and they were really there, really there with their heart. Like, hey, I'm on your team. Like with a spark in their eyes, nobody forced them, like they're not getting paid. And for me, it was such an extraordinary experience. It was such a, like, I think I waited my whole life to be in these sort of teams where really people support you on what's really in your heart and what's really uh, the next step in your journey.
Yeah, and what I get is the difference is when I think to about my corporate job, it's I have to be in that team. It doesn't matter if I can like that person or not. Uh, I do not decide about the members of the team. I have to take what I get. And in the end, it ends up mostly that I do it by myself because I cannot trust them or something like this. And what you are describing was more like there are some people they choose, they decided by themselves that they want to be supporting you and to relate to you and to relate to the work you are doing. And that in a radical way, committing themselves to that work.
Yeah, I see people that join this training that are they're kind of ready to do things, to try things differently because they probably tried, like you're saying, in the modern culture way of doing things. Like even people that do new age workshops, they sometimes still do it in the modern culture way, like you're saying. And I see people that join this training, they're kind of ready to do something in a different way. Like, how can I really be in a team in a different way? Or what parts of me I can discover that, like a place that I haven't gone yet. And actually bring my spaces, if the people are already creating spaces for themselves, or already doing workshops, how can I bring them to another level? And yeah, it's really not about you, Nicole, and it's really not about me as like we're not leaders, we're not authority figures. We're kind of holding this space that the space can create something for these people that join the space holder training. That's what I think it's about.
Yeah, I have that taste that there's something different in this training than it's mostly offered in modern culture. And in the same way, it's just this little taste, and I don't get it fully. What it really mean, all these distinctions you brought or we brought right now in this call. I just have this taste of it smells different.
And Nicole is also, beside being a great space holder, is also a great cook. So she's talking about space. I know because I tasted your food. So if you want to taste what Nicole talks about in her space, so if you're watching this, you can join on the introduction. It's on the 20th of March. It's Wednesday. So you're welcome to join our space. And yeah, anything else you want to add, Nicole, before we end this?
No, I don't have something to add. It was a great finish. Thank you.
I'm excited to see you there. We're going to add the link below for joining the introduction. You need to sign up. And you can send us a message if you have any questions. Thank you and see you in the training.
Yeah, looking forward to meet you.